This is Cult Faction Podcast Episode 1, Dino Fury, Busan Jury, right, surely?
Superman.
This is Brett Summers.
Paul Hawkins.
Damien Hicks.
And we'd like to welcome you to Episode 1. Right then, so how have we been doing,
Is that the
guys?
Phantom Menace?
Yeah.
Oh, we're just forgetting about that.
Definitely a menace. Right, so Damien, how's your week been? What have you been up to? What have you been watching? What's been happening?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I actually
Good.
did watch Greenland, despite Paul's protestations from last week.
I just said it was watchable. I didn't say it was anything groundbreaking.
I think you're much more ferocious than that in your scathing attack of Greenland. No, I thought it was all right. I mean, it's disastrous.
Exactly.
Go.
That's my point. It's
Yeah.
all right.
I enjoyed it. I mean, there's no real jeopardy as far as
The end of the world goes.
There's no real jeopardy. Any of the three main characters, we know they're going to meet up at some point and make their way to safety. But I thought the opening 20 minutes or so were pretty decent.
Yeah.
I like the fact there was no lone scientist stuck out on the ice discovering some weird anomaly with, I don't know, bacteria that's going to end up making the world explode. So, yeah, I thought it was enjoyable, stressful at times, those first 25, 30 minutes.
It's better than the George Clooney one that was just being streamed.
I can't say I've seen that.
Don't.
I was going to say, Paul, I read your review on Space Sweepers. Got the
You did
review
the-
on cultfaction.com, our
The-
main
the-
website that you can visit right away. How was it?
Way to
What,
plug
the-
the website.
Oh,
that I keep talking over. Do you mean the
Yes.
Cult Faction website?
that one exactly, cultfaction.com. Go for it, Paul.
That's right. So I finally got round to watching the K sci-fi space movie, Space Sweepers. As I say, I won't go into too much detail here because the review's on the website. I think I gave it a 7 out of 10. Main points to take away: nothing groundbreaking. You've kind of seen it all before in different movies, but again, it's careers take or stepping stone into the big budget Hollywood blockbusters, and that did a pretty good job.
Are we going for catchphrases in this? Because I swear that's twice already you've said nothing groundbreaking.
Well, Paul Groundbreaking Hawkins. I am trying to lose weight, but yeah, maybe the ground still.
Say
does
no
work.
one's called you that. No one's called you that for years.
So that was the real big movie, I guess, that I've been seeing this week. I've also been dipping.
You've been dabbing.
I've been dipping my toes into the world of the audiobook media of entertainment. So I finally got round to listening to an audiobook without falling asleep the other night. The trick is apparently don't go to bed at 2 a.m. and start listening to it. So I was actually in bed at a reasonable time, 12 or something like that, and started listening to Jeff Wayne's version of H.G. Wells's War of the Worlds on Audible, which I know you think you've all listened to before because everyone would have listened to the actual version years ago in the late 70s, early 80s. But this is actually an audio book based on the original, or more true to the original.
Did
but
you
it
run
ended up-
screaming from the house thinking it was true?
No, I ended up turning it off though. Couple of reasons.
Did you get scared?
No, well, although you're probably right. That's probably not the best book to start to read if you're going to bed and trying to have an audio book to put you to sleep.
Did you have an accident?
No. So two annoying things. So first of all, it's got a bit of the soundtrack, but it doesn't have the whole of the soundtrack. So when you're expecting the vocals, yeah, it's got that, but there's no vocals, which again is just annoying. And the main reason I had to turn off was because of the voice of the narrator. My arch nemesis in Hollywood You know the chap I'm talking about, the one that's always pinching my my roles
Chris
in movies.
Chris Tarrant.
Well, not Chris Tarrant as such, but who stole the role off me?
No.
Michael Sheen. Yeah, so Michael Sheen plays the voice of the
Ah.
narrator. Now, he does a really good job. It's a really good version. However, and this is for the listeners that probably don't know the story, I years ago did a rubbishy impression of Chris Tarrant. Which
years ago. You still do
It was
it.
like last week, wasn't it?
It was, well, I think it was 20 years ago when my impression first came to fruition. Obviously, it wasn't great. You took the mickey out of me, and then lo and behold, there was a film called Quiz, or an ITV movie called Quiz, where Michael Sheen got the role. The lads were winding me up, saying he stole my part, which is fine. It was a joke. But for some weird reason, in my head, this has morphed into a point where Michael Sheen has basically been pinching all of my roles.
So in effect, what you're saying is that you're going to turn into the chicken from Family Guy and just start haunting Michael Sheen.
Well,
He fights with him.
Or
I don't know
are
what
you
it
going to
is.
be Kathy Burke?
Well, again, it's just in my head. Michael Sheen has pinched my career through no basis. I'm not an actor, but I can't listen to him or watch him on telly, and he's doing a lot of good stuff. You know, I like the stuff he does on BBC One as well recently.
Stage.
Stage. But he just winds me up because he's in my head. He's pinched my roles, and Kate Beckinsale off me years ago.
I mean, to be fair, I mean you were within a whisker of getting the part in that Damned United. So I feel your pain.
Exactly, yeah, but yeah, no rhyme or reason. It just grates me when I listen to him or see him. But
if
yeah,
you're
don't.
just joining us, this is the Cult Faction Online Therapy Clinic with our special guest this week, Paul.
Yeah, so yeah, Michael Sheen, great actor, but I hate him because he stole my career. So don't listen to it.
Fair enough.
That's a good 5-minute tangent there.
That's a good rant, and the 800 pictures of him on the wall behind you also make me feel really comfortable.
That's my dartboard.
Right, well, I, ladies and gentlemen, have rediscovered the joy of the Muppet Show on
Is
Disney
that
Plus.
because of the recent warnings that have been placed?
Not just that, there are some, you know, looking back, maybe the Muppets were a bit edgier than I remember. Or maybe time has moved on and some of the jokes haven't.
Hold on,
From
which
what I can
version of
work
the
out
Muppet
from
Show
reading
are we
up on it, there's
talking
probably
about?
the original Muppet Show.
The original.
All of, well, the original, most of it is now on Disney Plus. There are about 4 or 5 episodes missing, mainly due to, we've got a couple more than America has, but mainly due to like copyright and like the Brooke Shields Wizard of Oz one's not on there because of rights to the music and everything like that. There's another one missing from that dude from the thick of it who accidentally took his computer to be looked at the wrong shop and then went to prison.
Oh yeah, I've forgotten that guy's
I
name.
forgot the actor's name now, the English actor.
Yeah.
But he worked on the Muppet Show, and so obviously, Disney don't want a episode featuring a now convicted paedophile on there. But no, there's some cracking episodes.
Actually, that'd be an interesting thing,
ju-
wouldn't it? No, going back through all the old, TV shows where people can't, or had them removed because it's got offenders or criminals.
Well, I feel sorry for the supporting cast of the Cosby Show. To be fair, I mean they were probably doing quite well off the royalties, but not going to get any of those checks anymore, are they?
I heard they made a lot of money selling these jumpers, and they're doing all right.
But we all know the theme tune.
But the thing is as well, the shame of that is that Ghost Dad's never going to get played again. Right, anyway, so moving on though, one of the big news items this week was the...
Dun dun dun, cue the intro music.
Was the big Disney Plus edition of the Star Network, and lots of people have been asking us what should they be looking for on the Star Network. So I've kind of gone through what's been added to Disney Plus and Star, and some of them are like recommendations of new shows that I'm interested in and what you should be watching. Other stuff are just things you should be checking out. So I'm going to go through. I'm going to drop this on you guys. If you know what it is, give it a yay or a nay.
And before you do that,
yes,
Star is different to Stars, isn't it? Is it?
Is
they
it
two
Stars?
separate things?
No, it's just basically like another bit on the Disney Network. Because when you go on now, there's like the Marvel bit, the Disney
National
bit,
Geographic.
the National Geographic bit.
Yeah, no,
like
I get
everyone
that.
rushes
Same as Amazon
to.
has like Hulu and Shudder and all that.
And it's free.
No,
isn't it?
it's all
It's
all in the
not
package.
Stars
You haven't got to
Play,
pay any. Yeah,
that's not
it's not
where
in
I'm
the.
going. It's not where I'm going.
Okay.
Is it different to Stars, which is the add-on in Amazon? The Stars Play, which has got the stuff like.
Having known nothing about that, I would say it is different.
Now this talk of Stars, I've just got Simply Red in my head.
That's not good.
No, it's not.
No one
wants Mick Hucknell in your head.
Oh, Marty McClutchan was quite happy for a while.
I think that was slightly the other way around.
Is Stars Stars?
I thought it was a Z.
Sorry, you're talking about Star, aren't you?
It's Star, I believe.
Yeah, they're different things. There's Star on Disney Plus, and then there's Stars Play on Amazon,
Cool.
which has got things like Black Sails and stuff on. That's why I was wondering.
No, that's okay. I was not aware there were two. Thank you for clearing up the confusion. I'm sure our listeners will be grateful.
I'm sure our listeners won't get any of that because we talked all over each other, and I'm going to have to edit it out anyway.
Okay. Looking at some of the new stuff that's available then on this Star thing on Disney Plus, new shows that are coming up. They've got a show on there called Big Sky, which I've heard a lot about from over in the States. It's a big murder mystery thing. They got the Hellstrom show, which is based on the comic of the same name. There's another thing on there called Solar Opposites, which is good. A new show called Terriers, which is about a private investigator. And there's another show called Perception. These are all new shows to us in the UK, which is Will from Will and Grace, who's a paranoid schizophrenic doctor who helps cops. So sounds good,
Why not?
The old weird that helps cops. But shows that they are bringing on there that we may know, it looks like they've got the majority of 24 on there. The X-Files, Lost, which was a great show. I know people didn't understand the end, but that's good.
Why do people not understand the end? It's perfectly simple.
Does this contain spoiler alerts, this episode?
I'm not even going. We won't go.
We won't go into it, but a lot of
people
people
say it is perfectly.
If people haven't seen Lost by now, then
they've got Atlanta on there from Donald Glover. Sons of Anarchy is all on there if you want to go through that journey again. They've also got
I wish I hadn't seen Sons of Anarchy, so that I would have Sons of Anarchy to look forward to.
Oh, that would be me then.
I'm jealous of people that haven't seen Sons of Anarchy.
Again, that would be me. That may be my next box set.
Okay, yeah, put that on your tick list. Obviously, they've got all the Simpsons, Family Guy's on there now, Scrubs is on there, Desperate Housewives, which when it started was a bit of a cult show and then just went weird.
Yep.
And a bit more mainstream. Scrubs is on there, again, a bit weird.
Scrubs is good,
yeah, I wouldn't watch it again though.
Okay, well, they've got the complete Futurama, Cougar Town, Raising Hope is brilliant if you've never seen that, Prison Break, American Dad, Sleepy Hollow TV series, How I Met Your Mother, Ugly Betty, Alias, and they've got Flash Forward on there, which was always cancelled far too early.
Yeah.
So, great series, but don't expect an ending.
Yeah,
also,
I would recommend don't watch it because you'll just get really thoroughly annoyed.
Yeah, they should have done a proper Lord of the Rings cartoon ending to that. You remember when that was on telly? And then
they never finished the cartoon.
No, I know, but they did a special bit that was like 5 minutes. Well, it was like a 5-minute extension, and I'm not sure whether this was just because it was on Channel 4 or whatever it was on, but they literally went through in 5 minutes the rest of the story. It saved me reading the book when I was a kid. It saved me like days and days of my life. But yeah, that's what they did.
Then they walk quicker and drop the rings off.
No, but that's what they did. They took snippets from the cartoon and basically fleshed out 5 minutes of this is the rest of the 2 books.
Okay.
Good to know.
And they've also had, thank you. They've also got Firefly.
Yeah.
Terra Nova, which was a great series, again got cut out before they got to a decent ending. Once Upon a Time, Lie to Me, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer in all their glory, which is still worth watching despite all the criticisms being thrown around at the moment. Doesn't take away from the show, maybe just the person that made it. But no Angel. Angel was advertised, but Angel's not on there yet, or I couldn't find it. So whether that's going to be in the next drop, I imagine about a month's time they're going to bang a load more stuff on there. Film-wise, there is some cool stuff on there. We have got they got the Edward Grosse Point Blank. You might have heard of that.
Classic.
Little plug for your recent article on cultfaction.com. Phone Booth, which was given away right at the beginning because you can't bring a film out with a secret villain in it when like 24 is riding high in the charts and no one recognised the voice. Sorry. Bulworth, which I always thought was underrated, with Warren Beatty, where he's the American presidential candidate who realised he's going to die. Kingsman Secret Service. They got The Village. Basically, all the old and new Planet of the Apes films, all the Maze Runner stuff. And then here's where we start going deep. Commando.
Awesome.
Con Air.
Awesome.
Classic.
Conan the Barbarian.
Awesome.
Which one?
Doesn't matter. They're all good.
Well, no, it does, because there's the 2011.
Oh no, we're not talking about. This is.
Well, I'm just clarifying.
Good, proper. Yeah, Starship Troopers.
Which one? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
The first one. That would have been Starship Troopers 2. March for Death with Steven Seagal. You know that's going to be enjoyable.
Starting to lose me again.
Night Watch, Clive Barker. Office Space.
Classic.
Darkwater. Idiocracy, which bizarrely kind of came true.
Yeah.
High Fidelity. The Watch. Pathfinder. Powder's on there. That strange. Remember the strange pale kid?
Yeah.
Another Earth, which is that Parallel Earth one with Tom Cruise's cousin who was in Lost. Ethan Rom in Lost. I forgot the actor's name now. But when they thought he was one of the passengers, when really he was a plant from the others. Sort of a tall bloke with a sort of fringe.
Tall bloke. The sad thing is, I now know exactly who you mean. When you said, I put the words Lost, tall bloke with a fringe together, and now I know who you mean.
Yeah. And then they've got so there's loads. I mean, I was just scanning through because they banged so much stuff on there. And they've also got the cool shows. They've got Prop Culture on there, where they go through the history of different Disney films and looked at what happened to all the stuff on there. They've got the Howard Ashburn documentary about the guy who wrote all the music and stuff. And there's a Disney Insider and Imagineering story where they look at the different things, how it's all made and put together, like behind the scenes film stuff, if you're into any of that. So there is a lot on there to keep you busy through the remainder of this lockdown and straight on into the summer, I feel.
I mean, I guess it's free if you got the subscription, so you're not losing anything. It's just an additional way of viewing, most of that content. I guess it's the original stuff that I'm more interested in. I mean, what was it, Hellstrom? I think I saw the write-ups on that, and that's supposed to look good. Well, as I said, it's I've got Disney Plus subscription. No doubt I will be looking.
Yes, again, get diving in and see what you find. There's stuff on there. Like Angel was definitely advertised, and that's not appeared yet. But there's been other stuff they didn't advertise, so there might still be stuff appearing even as we speak. Because like even episodes of the Muppets, more keep getting added, or more bits keep getting added. Because some of them in different regions have got certain songs cut out and things because of rights. So I think they're overcoming it as it's going along. But you're going to get that with a show like that.
But as I said, the interesting thing would be how much new content they can get out. Because Netflix and Amazon are doing a storming job of releasing it. Apple aren't doing as good, I'd say, although they've got something which I'm really looking forward to coming very soon with the Foundation.
With the what? Sorry.
Foundation Saga, which I'm looking forward to. But as long as they can bring out some more decent films, then cool. As I said, it's free. If you got the subscriptions, cool.
Okay, and of course, the other big news this week is, ladies and gentlemen, the Power Rangers are back. Power Rangers Dino Fury is on us, and not really aimed at us, I know, but it is racking up big points and big ratings in the sort of cult TV world. And, that thing still has a massive following. It's been going since about 1993 now. I think this is I can't remember how many series this is now. They're nearly on about 30 series of different Power Rangers now. It's getting close to it.
So Brett, just to confirm, the three of us aren't the target audience for this show.
Well, I think people our age might be. There are many people. I've been to many conventions, seen many Power Rangers, some older than us, running around in those outfits. And fair play to them is what I say.
I guess as long as you're hitting the gym on a regular basis, wearing spandex isn't too bad, is it?
I think their name might have been Jim, but I don't know. But yeah. So a couple of us have given it a glance. Damien, what were your thoughts?
What were my thoughts? Okay, I'll be brutally honest. I felt like I was being punished for some wrongdoing in a previous life. We've just said it. I'm 30 plus years above the intended target audience, but I don't know. I just think they could try a little bit harder with not patronising the target audience they are going for. You got a bubbly reporter who's determined to do the story she wants to do, and they have a chance she has a chance meeting with what's likely to be the kind of geek chic heartthrob for the series. And then you got the comic foil in the shape of, what's his name? What was it? I don't know, Garcia something or other. He's a park warden who's clearly looks like he's just fresh off the hunt of Yogi Bear. I don't know. They could just try harder. But
I watched the trailer and I agree. It looks like they're not doing anything different, and I think their target audience has probably moved on since then. It's a shame, and I think they should have done something completely different to bring back the characters, more like a Teen Titans Go type thing with the comedy, with a bit of a different edge to it, as opposed to exactly the same thing. The bad special effects, and let's face it, they are still bad. They haven't moved on any.
Actually, I was gonna say, in general across the episode, the effects are actually better than they ever have been.
Really? Maybe it just doesn't come across on the trailer.
Yeah.
But
There's one point when I've forgotten the girl's name in it now. I forget her name.
That's right. We know who you mean.
Yeah, she stumbles across Dino Henge, and you're kind of looking across. It pans across, and it's really cool. The sculptures look pretty good, but the equipment that the woman has set up makes it look like she's having a barbecue. If you just scan across, it looks like a picnic area with a barbecue.
Maybe it was. Maybe they were saving money on catering.
Well, that was detailed scientific equipment that you probably couldn't even understand.
No, they didn't. Yeah, don't bother trying to explain what it is. It was literally, this is my detailed scientific equipment.
Yeah, that was cool.
I'm from the Institute of Archaeology. No, the Association of Archaeology. That world famous institute.
Come on, let's hear Brett's take on it. Come on, because you've got to have some good stuff to say. Because we're too negative. So come on, you hit us with the positivity.
Well, I thought it was a big step forward for the show because it's the first one in ages. Like I say, it didn't look like it was cheaply done, considering we still know that most of the stuff where you can't see their faces is from the Japanese series that they nicked all the scenes from. And they actually did some of their own fighting. I mean, there was a really nice moment where she realised that she'd done karate for 3 years and he'd done fencing for a little while, and they might be able to battle the baddies.
That's a blinded stroke of
that was probably the best line of the episode. Someone earned their script money writing that one.
Yeah.
But
only she had a sword,
because
if you've been doing fencing for 3 years and there's no sword there.
No, she gains the sword during the episode.
Oh, of course she does. Of course she does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're not swords anyway.
And also what I liked about it as well is that we only met 3 eventually of the actual Rangers, rather than normally they get 5 or 6 at the beginning. They all get it straight away and it just gets rushed through and suddenly everyone's an expert. So I'm imagining each episode now there'll be another 1 or 2 that join the gang as it goes along.
We're going to get the band back together.
Yeah, I mean, I could
rather than here's a bunch of kids that
Ranger Garcia. You never know. He could be the new Tommy, maybe. I don't know.
And totally look different when he's in his suit.
Yeah, about 150 pounds lighter.
And a foot taller. But I think for kids thing, I think they've moved it forward a bit, and also it would seem that the girl is the leader at this point. She seems to be the main focus, which I haven't seen enough of the other series over the years since the originals. But having a girl in charge, and we haven't had, which is normally a thing in most American shows. I'm guessing he's coming though. We haven't had the blonde-haired, blue-eyed football star who finally gets a conscience and isn't a jerk anymore. But I may have just ruined the next episode. But I don't know. I think there's something there. I think it will. I mean, it's been going nearly what was this sort of say, the 20-odd incarnation of the Power Rangers. The one in Japan's been going for 40 years. So
it's like people can't think of anything new anymore or something.
But it all links in. It's all it's a legacy. I know what you mean though, but it is a legacy series, and it still makes big money.
Hey, they brought back Karate Kid and that worked. So if this floats your boat, fine.
It's never gone away, and that's the thing. There's still, even the The bad series have still made some money for them,
I
not
know.
necessarily for the people in it, but for the
To be fair,
owners.
what they don't make in the shows, they make in the toys. So
Yeah.
But then that's it. It is a license to sell toys. Let's be honest.
As I said,
Most of
it
these things have
it
been.
might not have gone away, but it probably has left my life.
It may be back soon now.
yeah, I mean, to be fair, despite all of what I've just said, I'm gonna watch the next episode.
Oh, and there we go. There you go,
I need
kids.
to see the band get back together. I need
Straight from
I
the-
need
straight
to
from the
see
horse's
I need
mouth.
to see if I'm going to be proved right at the very least. And the way this one's gone, that might take 3 episodes.
Novocaine for the soul.
I mean, they've definitely, basically same series you've been used to, mate. But I think maybe they've got better writers in. I think that might be who can actually tell the story longer rather than everything needs to be wrapped up in 20 minutes and in bed because it's school the next day.
Yeah, if they could just get better, you're right. The story arc might well be better if they could just get script writers to marry that story arc up. We'd be all right, and do away with Institute of Archaeology. And I'm going to need you to come back and write a report. Oh, happy to comply. Really? That's just how you're going to leave the situation, is it? You're just going to walk off, leave 2 kids in charge of your really impressive scientific equipment, and go and write up a report.
Those laptops and flashing box looked really expensive.
Yeah, they had really high-tech screensavers and everything on them.
Okay, then. So that was the Power Rangers Dino Fury.
Yes.
Next up, we had the trailer for the new Invincible cartoon that's coming out, based on the comic book franchise of the same name. I know a bit about the comic, but I don't want to give it away because there's lots of plots going on in that. What do you think of that?
Well, you could probably give a bit of an overview about Invincible as a character without giving too much away. I mean,
basically, it's a young superhero whose dad is basically like the Superman of that universe. He's the big hero that everyone sort of knows and is, he's well respected and that. So he's growing up, learning about his powers and sort of being taught them by his dad. But then that's when the twist kicks in a little bit later. But I don't want to reveal because I think the twist might be the whole first season of the cartoon series.
Yeah, I don't want to say
too much.
They have signposted that in the trailer, to be fair.
Okay.
I think they have anyway. I'm not a comic book aficionado.
It was definitely in there.
It's not for me, but I think in the trailer they've kind of signposted where it's going.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one for fans, but because what I think they've tried to do is keep it kind of original to the actual comic book look and feel. They haven't tried to do anything like the new Spider-Man film, even though I thought that was a really, really good take on it. The new way of animation.
No, you're right. The animation looks really cool. It
is very comic booky, yeah. And it's got a manga feel to it as well, a slight manga feel. I think it's an odd one about how many seasons this will last, because again, I think this comes back with some of the other cartoon series that are more geared towards people more our age than the younger folk, about whether people will continue to repeat view. So it'd be interesting to see how many people or how many viewers and the populace it gets, and whether. But then
it looks like Amazon have given it a decent amount of backing, if considering the voice cast. I'd say probably. They're aiming for. Looks like they're aiming for more than one season.
But that's what I mean. In the cruel world of Amazon TV, a lot will depend on the viewing figures, won't it? Because as I said, the voice cast are blooming good. And again, it looks good. It's just whether there's the right demographic out there. Although saying that, I said exactly the same thing when Karate Kid came on board, thinking, well, I'm going to watch
Karate Kid, isn't it?
Well, that's what I mean. But I was thinking, well, I'm going to watch it, but I doubt if anyone else will. And then, 4 series later, almost, I was happily pleased wrong. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's a big. The combat was a big success. Again, if anyone doesn't know, it's Robert Kirkman behind it who did The Walking Dead. So he's got a good track record for TV shows and that. And
I was trying to think about a way to sum it up for the people that may not know anything about Invincible, and it's kind of like a mashup. And I could be completely wrong, so correct me, but it feels kind of like a mashup between Spider-Man from the boy doesn't have any superpowers, normal guy, etc. A bit like The Incredibles. So there's a family of superheroes, and then with some more gore, violence, more akin to The Boys. So I was trying. That was how I was trying to sum it up. It's a mashup of all of those types of things. Probably not as wholesome.
No, I'd say by the amount of blood in the trailer, I don't think it's as wholesome as
exactly, and that's why I say a bit of The Boys in the mix as well.
I only watched it once, but I think there was exploding bystanders as
exactly.
he flew through the streets or whatever it was he was doing. I would like to say I only watched it once, but yeah. I don't think it's a fair comparison. Invincibles.
No, I said a mashup between that and The Boys.
Well, it's by Robert Kirkman, who wrote the Walking Dead comic and then obviously the TV series. That gives you an idea where it's coming from. And they got a massive cast, though. I mean, as I say, we've got Stephen Yeun from The Walking Dead, J.K. Simmons, Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill. They've got Seth Rogen, Gillian Jacobs, Sandra Oh, the always amazing Walt Goggins, Zazie Beetz. Who else? Zach Quinto appears.
Is Michael Sheen in it?
Ezra.
He better not be.
John Hamm, Clancy Brown. Who doesn't love a bit of Clancy Brown?
Clancy Brown.
Yeah, even Clancy Brown turns up.
You've
Lenny James.
No.
Michael Dawn. There's loads more as well. So basically, cast.
What you're saying is they ploughed a lot of money into this, and from the trailer it looks like they've kept it quite original to the comic book. It's got the comic book look and feel to it. They haven't tried to do anything strange or revolutionary. It's and for people that don't know it, it's comic book cross between a little bit of manga, with some of the characterization. So yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing, as maybe I said before to you guys, is whether it's got the staying power and whether it's got the amount of viewers that can keep us going for one or two or three series. But as I said, similar to Karate Kid, I thought I was going to be one of three watchers, the other two part of this chat. But I was happily proved wrong, where it's on season 4 now.
Excellent. So that's another recommendation then, Invincible, that's coming up.
I'd definitely be watching
let's
put it that way.
Definitely, so will I. Also, one of the big trailers coming up is the Arrowverse is introducing Superman and Lois into their own series now. It definitely looks better than Lois and Clark from many, many years ago, which I never really got into. Thoughts on that? Damien, you love a bit of the Arrowverse?
I do. And my first thought was, do we need more Superman stories? But as the trailer says, the world will always need Superman. So, what can I say? Am I excited? No. Intrigued is probably going to be the word I would use for this one. You got Supergirl has pretty much used up most of the villains in that world, as far as I can remember. Admittedly, I did stop watching Supergirl a while back. But so, who are they going to use? Who's left for Superman to kind of defeat? I'm guessing it's going to be more about the kids and how he struggles to be a father to what looks like a nerdy kid and his jock older brother. So we shall see. But I've liked most of what the Arrowverse or CW, I guess, have done with Flash and Arrow. They were good in the first 2-3, pushing it at 4 seasons. So Jerry's out.
For me, the only thing for me on it is if they're going to do a Superman, surely at some point then Superman needs to meet Batman. And I know we've got Batwoman. I know that had to get changed up because Ruby Rose left and they had to rewrite the whole series into another character, blah, blah, blah. But if you're going to do Superman, then surely at some point Batman needs to appear, because the only reason to have a Superman series is to introduce Batman, surely.
Why?
like you say, we've seen Superman in the other shows.
Well, yeah,
Tell
this
me
is it.
why.
I think I might be wrong, but I'm pretty certain they've done most of what they can do with a superhuman, i.e., Supergirl. She's done most of those main sort of story arcs, if you like. So where's this going to go?
Well, and this is my concern. Yeah. Well, firstly, I was quite happy that it wasn't like the old Lois and Clark, which was the Saturday night staple for many a seasons, but it was too wholesome to be of any interest. Although saying that,
and he barely flew.
Yeah.
And this actually.
And this does seem a bit more gritty, but it almost seems like they've done the old OC spin on it as well, with the kid that's a teenager that's basically blaming his dad for all of his problems because he wasn't there. Oh, why wasn't he there? Because he was saving the world. Grow up.
What was it? He says something like, "I've seen Superman," and then he just takes off his glasses. Oh yeah, you're Superman.
Like he didn't say that every time he got out of the shower or was going to bed. Oh, Dad, who are you?
Then, I don't know. That's the conceit we just have to live with for all of the Superman incarnations. So I was about to say incantations. Then that's a completely different podcast.
Yeah,
that's WandaVision.
But as I said, I think this is going to be revolutionary? Doubt it. Is it going to be groundbreaking? Kitching. Then maybe not. Is it going to be just a kind of an OC type of thing where they're looking at the relationship between dad and kid? I don't know. I mean, there was hints of big battles with villains. To be fair, I didn't catch who it was when I was watching it. But if they can get it right, then 2-3 series. If they can't get it wrong, 2 push. Let's watch the first episode.
Yeah, which actually is out in the States today, isn't it?
But that's what I was thinking.
It is out anywhere now, yeah. I mean, other big news. Train to Busan is getting the US remake. Once again, the Korean movie market gets ripped off by America. You can handle this one, Paul.
No, I just think it's a real shame, but because for those people that haven't watched the Train to Busan, do it. It's fantastic in all the right ways. It's got comedy, it's got horror, it's got gore, and it's also got the softer sides as well. And they do it really well. It's emotional, sometimes a bit too hammy, but it's just a fantastic film. And yes, it might have some subtitles in it or some dubbing, as most Asian films do. It's got gore, it's got comedy, it's got horror, it's got suspense. It's the fantastic film, and it's got a bit of hammy sadness in it as well. But there's chops, there's churns, there's fantastic film. Why is it being remade? Well, we all know why, because Hollywood struggled to think of anything original outside the Marvel universe, outside horror genres. And let's face it, this is a zombie flick, but it's done very, very well. Are they going to do it better? I don't know. I don't know. Why are they doing it? Again, I don't know.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they haven't got high speed rail in the States. So is it going to be on the A train or something? They're going to do it on the A train. It's going to be half the pace.
But I'd like it if they didn't do a straight copy of it, because if they do a straight copy of it, it's going to fail, in my view. I mean, obviously, from a box office perspective, however many million people watch the Train to Busan is going to be a shadow of what Hollywood could get. But again, they need to either step it up a bit or do something slightly different, and maybe an underground version of that could work. I don't know.
I guess so. What are they going to call it?
Well, I've got it cracked already. I've got the plot sorted out for the American version.
We'll go on this here.
Okay, there is an American street gang who go from Coney Island into the middle of New York for a big meeting of all the other gangs.
Carrying baseball
Something
bats.
goes wrong, maybe some rollerblades. Keep it modern. Something goes wrong with the zombies, but they have to get back to Coney Island by getting through all the different gang territories and back on the subways through. So it could be like subway to Coney Island. And then
I was thinking
somewhere
more
along the
Crazy
line,
Train.
some bloke turns up, bottles on his hand. Ooh.
They'd
Could
at
go with
least have a
that
decent
too.
soundtrack.
Oh, what?
No,
The
no.
zombies attack? Oh, even better. The zombies attack, and Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor are on the train, and it's called the
Oh,
Silver
yeah.
Streak.
The Silver Streak, yeah.
There's no need for this remake. I'm hoping it's not a remake, and it's let's take a storyline we couldn't think of ourselves. Even though, let's face it, it's zombies on a train.
Well, the thing is, it's gonna.
They've had snakes on a plane. I mean,
Was it zombies on a train? That's what they're gonna call it.
It probably will be, won't it? Samuel L. Jackson starring in it. Actually, I'd watch that.
According to what I read the other day, it's that Doberman fella that's going to be directing it. I think he did Conjuring and stuff like that. So it'd just be more jump scares that you can shake a stick at, and less frantically running away from zombies and kicking them in the face.
Let's see. It's still early days. Keep us posted, Brett, on developments, and we can discuss.
Well, my future prediction is that it's going to be arse gravy.
I'm assuming it hasn't even gone into production yet, and there's no details about it, no?
No, but basically, America don't like reading, so we've got to get a remake of it.
Although
subtitles are hard.
Let's face it, in this world
That's
of
a bit
lockdown,
harsh,
if you're going to make a film, make it on a
Not
train.
just America, we all are.
What was that, Paul? If you're going to make a film, what?
Well, in this world of lockdown, if you're going to make a film, make it on a train. We can keep all the cast and contained.
Yeah, fair enough.
2 weeks quarantine beforehand, they're good to go, aren't they?
Yeah.
And keeping on the subject of remakes, our final item of discussion this week is Edgar Wright is developing a new adaptation of The Running Man that he is also going to direct. Apparently, it's going to be based more on the book than the original film was.
Yeah.
I think this could be quite good because I like Edgar Wright's style of directing.
Yeah.
I think he put a lot more into it.
There's two things to this. Where when I saw that there's going to be a remake of Running Man, it's like, oh my god. There's differences. The Bachman book Running Man, which is completely different to the Running Man Sylvester Stallone, bloody hell, Arnold Schwarzenegger that we all know.
You don't want to get those two mixed up.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, yeah. I'd never get into a famous restaurant brand again. But there's a very different storyline between the Bachman book and the Schwarzenegger film that, to be fair, I love, because I was a kid that watched it at the time, and to be fair, I haven't recently seen it and don't want to. But the actual book is very different, and a bit about Edgar Wright that we may know and love him from some of his films, including the Cornetto trilogy, doesn't necessarily marry up with what you think is going to be in the new Running Man film, until you recognize that the fact that the storyline of the Running Man in the Batman book is someone trying to evade the authorities for a period of time, and then you realize that Edgar Wright directed Baby Driver. And what's that film about? It's action, it's avoidance. So I'm actually quite excited about it if it's done well. And I think you're right, Brett. I think he could do a good job.
With a lot of Scott Pilgrim nuggets sprinkled in on top, I believe. And
Well,
I think we're in for a good one.
And it'll be interesting as well if he can get the humour in as well. Because let's face it, humour, really decent soundtracks, a lot of action. What's not to love?
Definitely.
Will he get Schwarzenegger to do a cameo?
I was thinking maybe they could get Joss Whedon to be the new Killian, but I'm not sure.
Oh, you set me on a path that I'm not going to comment on. I want to top that comment. But basically, it all comes back to Ghost. It all comes back to Ghost Dad again. That could be one of the characters, one of the runners. But right, that about ties up our items on our discussion board this week. Next thing I would say now is, what's everyone up to for the rest of the week? What's on your watch list, your read list, etc.?
Well, I don't have a read list because I'm still reading the same one that I was reading last week, which I've forgotten. But it's good.
Thanks for the review, Damien.
That good.
It's that good. I'm a couple of more episodes into that college thing that I started watching the other week. I've already forgotten what it's called again. It seems to come into my head and disappear. I think it's called The Order.
The Order. I looked it up because I was intrigued, and I recognised. Do you want me to tell you who that bloke was yet?
No,
that
you don't need to tell me, because I do know who he is. It's none other than Matt Frewer, or if that's how you pronounce it, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who obviously, as most listeners will know, was the legendary Max Headroom.
One thing I noticed as well when I looked it up again, I need to watch it. Catherine Isabel's in it as well. Ginger Snaps herself.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I like Ginger Snaps. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was good. Then she did the American Mary as well, which was a really weird film where she was like the nurse doing kind of horrible operations. But I'll let you Google that one and have a look. What about yourself then, Paul? What's on your list to do? What's on your to-do list for the week?
After my success or failure, depending on which way you look at it, of audio book, I was tempted to give The Graveyard Book a listen on Audible. Other streaming services are available. And also there was a film which randomly I came across after a WhatsApp conversation between us with an actor that actually wasn't in it, but somehow IMDb put me on the case, which is Occupation Rainfall, which I've managed to get on the streaming service. So I may be watching that over the next few days.
Cool. Well, again, I'm going to be giving a read and maybe a listen on Audible. Again, they should sponsor us. To the Cheltenham Crusades, I mentioned, which is going to be an amazing book, and I have a bit more on that. It's by a guy called J.J. Walsh. It's been described as Ready Player One for comic geeks. So, sounds like it might be up my street. So, and the Audible is written by Patton Oswalt as well. Who's doing the reading on the audio. Read by, yeah. So that should be some good stuff to do. And I think I'm just going to sort of buzz through Disney Plus and their new staffing, and I definitely want to check out Hellstrom and Big Sky and see if I've got time to fit anything else in.
So tell me, Brett, does the new Star on Disney Plus have any, I don't know, more touchy-feely films on it? More in-depth, deep?
Touchy-feely films?
Meaningful films that may appeal to the kind-hearted people.
I think it's got the diehards on there.
It's just one of our listeners.
Are you asking if it's got beaches on there?
Yeah,
is that what you want to know?
Yeah, classic film with a great soundtrack.
We're not touching. We're not touching that.
Well, maybe you could do a review on that next week.
I can do it now.
You are the wind beneath my wings.
I can't talk too much about it because you start crying.
Only briefly. 1 minute 28.
He's off now. That's the one where Bette Midler dies at the end, isn't it?
Spoiler alert.
There we go. Summed it up there. What a great review. 3 stars.
The only other thing I managed to find on YouTube, and I'm not sure whether you guys remember this, but for me, it was a Saturday morning classic, and that was Visionaries.
On the Knights of the Magical Light.
Knights of the Magical Light.
You can't sing any more of that, or we got to pay for it.
Damon will cut that out, obviously.
Yeah, I'll cut it out.
Yeah, this is for us. Yeah, but Visionaries, I got really excited when I saw I could watch that on YouTube. So I maybe show myself away for a few hours and watch those.
Bigger.
It was brilliant.
Bigger. And also, as always, why has no one made a live action Mask film?
Yes.
Well, because it'll probably go the same way as the live action Transformers film. That's
true.
And I must admit,
just leave.
And nowadays, kids have their own electric scooters, so T-Bob's kind of not required anymore.
Yeah. Okay. That's a wrap up from us for this week now. So thank you for listening. Please check out all the latest news at cultfaction.com, where we'll be reviewing stuff, putting the news up, and keeping you up to date with all the cool things going on. Please give us a rate and review on your various podcasting and listening devices. And we're also on Spotify. You can get us on YouTube as well to have a listen if that's easier for you guys. Please give us any feedback. It's always appreciated. And we will see you next time. So it's a goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from them.
Boom, boom.
Thank you. And see you later.
Superman.
Whose careers did that film ruin?